are live. That's right. Every single Monday night after Monday Night Raw. This is the last word, part of the Behind the Turnbuckle universe. I encourage you, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to become a premium member, we encourage you to do that as well. Quick update. Because of our schedules this Saturday, there will not be a live watch-along for Bad Blood, unfortunately, but we're going to add a live Q&A in the next couple of weeks. Now, as always, combined over 45 years inside of the WWE, my partner, let's bring him in, Big Tommy C. And Tommy, I know tonight, as we are presented, as always, by mybookie.ag, the last 3-hour Raw, the last Raw before Bad Blood, and I thought for a go-home that we're used to, not much happening, I thought it was fairly entertaining. What about you?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad show at all. I thought it got a little boring there, but I think they pulled through at the end, as we saw what happened in the end in the last Monster Standing match. But overall, I thought it was for a go home, and it has to hit home on everything. I think they did a pretty good job tonight.
Anybody have any questions, put them into the chat. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. Also, if you don't mind, hit that like button for us. It really helps the show and the channel grow. So let's start right there, Tommy. I'll give Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman a lot of credit. They put their bodies on the line. They put the hardware on the line. I thought the extras that we normally make fun of, I thought they were pretty good, other than a couple of obvious ones when Braun was coming out the top. They stood there and waited forever. But the timing is what it is. And then a very big show-like move at the end where they break the ring. I think Big Show and Mark Henry were the last two to do that, I think. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, the man's been all over the football fields this weekend. Yep. Seth freaking Rollins shows up, stomps the head. Braun Strowman wins. We go off the air with Seth talking trash to Bronson Reed. I thought it was a good way to spin the story forward, and also to have a really good match with two big dudes.
Yeah, they went at it. Braun, boy, he struggled tonight too, boy. When he ran across that ring and he hit Bronson Reed, he was limping, man. You could tell like he was hurt. And then the spot outside the ring where Bronson Reed picks up Braun Strowman onto the table outside by the pyro area over there. I thought that was unbelievable. And then, of course, the collapse of the ring, and then all the extras there, and the table spot, and everything. It was they did a nice job of these two guys just wrecking the place tonight. And then, of course, Seth coming out, doing the stomp a little bit, and now that recreates another storyline of going back to Bronson Reed nailing him out and him making Bronson Reed lose the match. So I'm assuming going forward, we're going to smell a little storyline between Bronson and Seth, since now Seth is back after tonight.
And you had to do it tonight because they're not going to fight at Bad Blood. So tonight, it was a great way to utilize the end of Raw for that, since they won't do it Saturday. Question from Troublesome. He said, how is it a Triple H era if you're just rehashing spots that Vince did? Interesting question. You got to remember that was well over 10 years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago. And there's a lot of people that have done a lot of things. But, Tommy, to say that's rehashing an idea, there's a ton of new fans that are young, that are 12 to 24, and they never seen that spot. And so if you're an OG and you've been watching for 20 years, then guess what? You're watching anyway. And so to me, I didn't have an issue at all with doing the spot. I thought the way they shot it from overhead, I thought it was spectacular.
I thought it was great. And what else do you want them to really do? They rehash a spot. What's the big deal? It's two new superstars. It's two behemoths in the ring. They're doing the spot. So nobody ever expects the ring to collapse. I like the high wide they had and showing it collapse. I have no issue with that at all. What else do you want them to do? Jump on the speakers and jump on the Tron and watch the whole Tron come down? I mean, let's be realistic here. We have to do things that are safe. And some things are holy shit moments. And that was a holy shit moment for us tonight.
Especially, it's also a spot that you got to understand, people watching at home. It's also for the crowd in the arena, because it's awesome to see that whole thing go, whoa, whoa, whoa. And when you see it up close, my goodness, is it freaking awesome. We do have another question. Justin says, do you think WWE will have a lawsuit after hitting those fans with the barricade? No. I don't think so. Do you, Tommy?
I don't think so either. I thought of that, and no, I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. If anything, they probably put some seat fillers in there for maybe there were plants there. I'm not sure. We're pretty WWE is pretty smart about doing stuff like that, so we'll never know. But I think and if so, they smartened up the fans of what's going to be happening here, and maybe had them sign releases. I really don't know, so I don't think that would happen.
Normally, when you have a ticket in the front row or the first couple rows, there's like a disclaimer on it saying if you get hit with something, whatever, you take it into your own risk. So we'll see. But I doubt. Normally, OG wrestling fans love to be a part of something like that. Like they live for it. So I don't think those fans are going to care one way or the other. So Jey Uso and Braun Breaker tonight. Question in the chat: how about the IC title getting that 03 blue touch? I thought that whole thing tonight, Tommy, as they kind of moved into the next era, was pretty good between those two.
I thought this was the most interesting segment of the whole show. Jey Uso, of course, doing his entrance with his kid. It's a big moment for him. It's been 14 years since he's it's his first time ever having a singles title. And when he came into the ring, and finally getting ready to cut his promo, he was overwhelmed. And Wade Barrett said that. He was overwhelmed by the fact that he is now the Intercontinental Championship. And as we all know, that title has a lot of history to it. So he took his time on cutting this promo saying, I'm glad you followed me through this journey, Yee. And he did all these things saying it, thank you, thank you. And then he went into talking about his family, which he never really does. And he brought up his mom, and I thought that was very interesting. You know, I had to go through Roman, and I was just a twin, so nobody ever thought I was going to make it as a singles in the title. But I'm so happy that my mom got to see this, and when she saw me after I won the title, she said, "Go do your thing now, kid. Show them what you can do." And I thought that was phenomenal, the way he cut the promo. He took his glasses off. It's emotion. Now I'm engaged in Jey Uso, what he's saying now that he has the Intercontinental title. And then we all expected Braun to come in and be the asshole. But he wasn't, Coach. He wasn't the asshole. He was actually come out there to shake his hand, saying, this title means a lot to my family too. And I said, the superstar that's going to beat me, I'm going to congratulate. Came out there and shook his hand. And I love that whole segment. And I love what they're doing with Braun right now. And then the finish to the whole thing, Coach, Jey Uso saying, hey, Braun, there's dogs out here in Indianapolis too, meaning because that's where they were tonight. So there's respect between each other. And I love what's happening with Braun right now. And I think they're going to have a great match.
Well, anytime you have a competitor who's a former athlete, I think that it's really smart to play into that, whether it's Roman with the Georgia Tech football, whatever the case might be. But sometimes you got to do the respect thing. It doesn't always have to be babyface heel. It can be, hey, listen, you were the better guy that night. And that's exactly what he said. And so I thought it was incredibly well done. And I think people need to understand, even though it's choreographed, even though they know who's going to win, I'm telling you right now, the first time that something like that happened to me, Tommy, it's emotional. It's a business that you put everything you have into. You leave everybody at home, your family, your parents, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever. So when you get respected enough by the bosses and the executives to give you a very prestigious title, and that's what the Intercontinental title is, then I can understand why you'd be emotional. But Tommy, the other part that we don't talk about a lot is that his twin brother has had a lot of issues. And when you're carrying each other, I think, and even when I was back in 2018, there was a lot of issues with the other one. And so I felt like he really held him back. And so now that he's been out on his own, it's emotional because he's thinking to himself, Tommy, I did this on my own. I didn't need my brother.
He sure did. And as he was cutting that promo, Coach, and he was saying, I want to thank somebody out there, I thought he was going to thank his brother, and he ended up talking about his mother, which surprised me a little because I'd never ever heard him talk about his mother or either one of them talk about their mom or anything like that. And this is the right guy to have this championship right now because he is so emotional. I am engaged in Jey Uso and see where he goes with this title moving forward. He's got me hooked right now.
By the way, I love Weed said, who is this coach guy? Well, this coach guy is the one that you came to watch his show. So either you're being sarcastic or you just don't know where you're at. But I'll tell you who this guy is right here and right now. Tommy, I agree with you. I want to see where this goes. There's very few storylines. And I talked about on the Coach and Bro show today with Vince Russo. And I said, listen, they're not very stacked. They don't have a lot of talent that can carry something. Jey Uso can carry that Intercontinental title. All right, another big storyline tonight I thought was pretty cool, and we don't see it a lot, and that's The Miz. How about The Miz turning heel, finally fed up with being, a lack of a better term, a mid-card guy. Everybody loves R-Truth, and laying him out, and then instantly, because he's a great actor, that face turns. Do you like a Miz heel turn?
I love Miz being a heel because he carries it out so well. The babyface Miz makes me it makes me want to puke. It's like too much gaga for me. You know what I mean? But heel Miz is where it's at. And I think he carries it out almost better than a lot of superstars that are heels that don't even convince me that they are really heels. But Miz knows how to do it. And obviously, everybody's going to think Karrion Kross is behind this whole thing. It happened to be against AOP. Oh, what a consequence it happened there. He turns on his best friend. What a better way to turn heel than turning on your best friend. Am I right, Coach?
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you never want it to be predictable. You never want it to be. And like they said in the chat, Tommy, it's to do it in so many different ways when you've been around for 15 or however many years it's been is pretty cool. Is pretty cool.
Yep.
And I think R-Truth is the ultimate baby face. So anytime that you can take a shot at him, people love him. Like legitimately love that guy. So to do that, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Obviously, Tommy, as they continue forward, we had more schmage with the Judgment Day, and it started with LWO and then Judgment Day. It turned into Finn Balor. I do not understand for the life of me why I would never take that move where he jump. Remember what the one they call where he like jumps, and he's been doing it for years. Yeah. But to me, I don't know how he hasn't broken an ankle. He did it a couple times tonight. And I'm telling you, when you're laying there taking a frog splash, I've taken a million of them. It's the scariest thing in the world, and you got to trust that guy 1,000,000%. But did you like the schmaz and the fact that Rhea got her hands on Dom, got her hands on Liv, and then it kind of went back and forth for a little while?
It went back and forth. I was a little surprised that they let that. You got to let it marinate for a while between Rhea and Liv. I want to see her get her hands on her at Bad Blood. I don't want to see her kicking ass or kicking Dom's ass there, and he's going to be in the shark cage. You got to let it be like where Liv just teases the shit out of her, but never really gets to get her hands on her until she gets her hands on her at Bad Blood. And they didn't do that. And that's what I like. That's the best part of an angle is like, she's waiting how long to get her hands on Liv, right? She wants that title, and I think my own opinion, I think she might win at Bad Blood, but they popped it just a little early tonight, Coach.
Well, I encourage you all to subscribe to our channel. We'll be doing a special episode with our numbers guy, Raphael, betting the turnbuckle. We'll be recording that tomorrow, and this is one of the matches that we'll be talking about. Liv is actually a minus 200, according to our good friends at MyBookie. And by the way, if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Use the promo code BTT, and I'm going to give you a 100% sign-up bonus, meaning up to $1,000. You put in $1,000, I'm going to give you $1,000. We are changing the game when it comes to sports book partnerships. We need everybody signing up this month. Next month, we're going to start playing together. Change the game. So that'll be one of that we talk about. Tommy, I love what you just said, because when she started doing her I'm a home wrecking, I mean, it was the whole thing. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Boom. And then, and then I would have loved to see Rhea just more and more frustrated.
Yes.
continue to see that, not touch her, but they decide not to do that. And it's 5 days. We could have waited 5 days.
Yeah.
Could have waited
Yeah.
5 days.
It builds it up even more. You're absolutely correct, Coach. Absolutely.
But I feel like that's a positive. So, Tommy, for every positive here on The Last Word, we must have a negative. And about halfway through, I was like, I kind of need a sandwich. I've got this new diet I'm going on, and I want to go make a salad. And I like, this will be the best time to do it when they showed the walk to the ring of our favorite world heavyweight champion, Gunther.
Yes.
And after 3 or 4 weeks, Tommy, of begging, we get the match that we've all been waiting for.
Right.
Gunther and Sami Zayn. And the hook, Tommy, was that Gunther told Sami Zayn losing to him was the biggest embarrassment of his career. Are you pumped, Tommy? Are you pumped?
You know what? The best part is not at Bad Blood. It's going to be on Raw next week, which I'm surprised at. I thought this match was going to be at Bad Blood. No, they previewed it at the end of the show. It's going to be on Raw next week. I didn't think it was, but it is. And I can't wait to see that match on Raw. By the way, Sami had a new flannel shirt tonight too. So he looked pretty sharp coming in the ring.
I'm just maybe I've been around Vince Russo too long, but I'm never going to believe. And I know you need hands, you got to fill out live events, all that, but they get a ton of TV time. And you're just never going to convince me that people, when Gunther comes out in his suit and tie, that they go, man, I got to stick for this. I got to wait to see what Gunther has to say. I got to see who's coming out. And then it's Sami Zayn. Can Sami Zayn one time just put on something that looks like it didn't come out of the hamper in the closet, please? It's embarrassing, Tommy. It is.
It's embarrassing. And can Gunther get any more boring? I'm not trying to be an asshole about this whole thing, but he is so friggin' boring. Even cutting a promo that at least he's trying to be exciting, but it's not. I'm not hooked. I'm not hooked at all. They've been shoving this down our throats for the last month, and you knew there was going to be a payoff where Sami's going to get his match. I don't give a shit. I don't care. And I don't think anybody else cares either. Somebody in the chat, please help us out. How do they feel about this match being on Raw next week? I wish somebody would answer us. Are we wrong? Just tell us.
No, Tommy, here's what it is. It's obvious to me that they sat in a meeting and they said, we need to give a hook for Raw every week. They did it with the Last Man Standing tonight, and then they did it with the World Heavyweight Championship next week. And not just go to the pay-per-view. Because, Tommy, let's be honest, the pay-per-view's got enough matches as it is. I mean, I'm kind of glad we don't have a live watch long. That thing could be 8 hours long on Saturday.
Well, so you see them starting at
that.
You see it starting at 6 too.
Oh my God!
Why?
It starts at 6 o'clock because they're going to go 6 hours, Tommy. They want everybody to sit there the entire night. Are we? Oh, we need 5 matches. That's it. Make the superstars start to compete for these spots. The best storylines, they get the pay-per-views, or excuse me, the PLEs.
Yes, the PLEs. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah, my bad. Joey says that match needs quite a bit of time. Let it be on Raw opposed to the PLE. Joey, I love you, brother, but that match needs no time. And I mean, like, for it to never freaking happen. It kind of, and I don't even mean to bring Roman into this, but it feels like the years, and I was back there for the cup of coffee during these years, when Vince continued to shove Roman Reigns into the main event every year at WrestleMania. He got booed out of the freaking building. But they got the last laugh because they created the wise man, and now he's over like Rover. But for 4 straight years, nobody wanted to see Roman Reigns in the main event at WrestleMania. This feels like that, Tommy. It feels like that.
Yep. I don't get it, Coach. I really don't. I just don't know what they see in him. And beyond the fact that Sami's not going to win the title. So where do they go from there with him? Do they move on? And hopefully somewhere down the line, hopefully Drew goes over at Hell in a Cell, and then it's Drew and Gunther. I don't know. I really don't know.
I am praying that they see the light and that they drop the title at some point, but we know because Triple H believes that title is the most important thing to their respective shows. I'm begging them to go back to one world heavyweight title. Enough with the WWE, enough with the world title. Make it one and have the guy work his ass off on both shows. Period. End of story. They will do it. They will do it. Another question, Tommy, from Jason. How are we feeling about the tension with Cody, Kevin, and Randy from SmackDown last Friday night?
I mean, I'm fine with it. I like what's going on with them right now. I don't have a problem with any of it till I see Randy turn heel.
The problem I have is that they continue to do nothing with Cody. And
yeah, right.
If I have to see one more promo with Roman and Cody in a football field, I got your back, but I'm coming after my title.
Yeah.
If I'm Cody, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. You should have made me the number one guy. Period. End of story. After WrestleMania, you didn't do that.
Nope.
And now Roman, you had 4 months for Cody to dominate. He didn't do that. He was the company guy. He was the guy doing business.
And it's at Bad Blood, where he's from in Georgia, and there's not even a men's title match at Bad Blood in Atlanta, Georgia. Cody, hometown boy, is in a tag match because they couldn't find somebody to go against Cody at Bad Blood, which is just a disgrace. And now the Gunther match, what I thought would be at Bad Blood, is not at Bad Blood, is on Raw. So you don't even have a men's title match at a PLE. Think of that,
Tommy,
Coach.
remember what next Monday is, though. Remember what next Monday is. It's not the season premiere, but it is the first 2-hour Raw, which is a big, big deal. No, Triple H, it's not a big deal. It's something you should have done 10 freaking years ago, and you're finally doing it. But alas, never fear, WWE fans, because we'll get 3 hours of SmackDown very, very soon. No longer will we have to get off at 10 for the local news, Tommy. We can go all the way to 11 and sell 12 more minutes of commercial time. Let's go. And we'll have the women's tag team titles in a 3-segment match from 10 to 10:25. Let's go. I'm here for it.
We get to see Nia. Nia.
Tommy, I said you're only going to bring me down once, not twice.
I'm sorry.
Not twice. Troublesome said Coach is a great talent. I agree. Coach was a great talent. I miss him on ESPN too. I agree. But we have some really big things coming. I'm having more fun with Tommy right now and the stuff that we're building outside of a network. I can't even tell you. Is it a struggle sometimes? Yeah. But man, we're having a ball, aren't we, Tommy?
Yes, sir. I love it.
We're going to have a little announcement, you and I, in the next 2 to 4 weeks. How do you feel about national television, Tommy? Do you like it?
This face wasn't just made for this is made
radio?
for Hollywood, dude. Yeah, radio.
So everybody in the chat, if you would like to see our little brand here that has multiple different shows, the interview show, the short segment shows, the last word, all of that. If you would like to see our little brand on a big streaming service, go ahead and write in the chat, hell yes.
Hell yeah.
And then we can let the bosses know. Because I think, Tommy, that's exactly where we belong. Very, very soon.
Yep.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I'm down.
Anything? All right. So a couple other things before we get the hell out of Dodge. I know they're trying to make us believe that Xavier Woods and Kofi, and I thought Kofi had a pretty good match tonight with Chad. Sometimes the timing of these and this goes back to how long the matches are. They put so many of these spots into these matches that if one misses, then it looks like the other guy's waiting. And I hate to criticize Kofi or anything he's in, but there were a couple of times where they're like, okay, let me wait. Okay, let me wait.
Yeah.
And I thought it got a little jumbled, but I thought all in all it was pretty good. Do you think Xavier's going to make a good heel?
All right. You want my take on this? I've swerved big time on this. I think Kofi's going to be the heel. This is what I'm saying right now.
Explain yourself, Tommy C.
I think Kofi, the way he's talking to him, I'm letting you be the quarterback. Now you're going to go against Jey Uso. I'm letting you do this, making him think that he's on his side. But in the end, it's going to be the big swerve of Kofi being a heel. And I can't wait to see Kofi be a heel because I think he'd be a great subtle heel. That's what I'm saying, Coach. I could be wrong. I don't know anything. I know you're calling me crazy. My swerve is Kofi's turning heel.
Justin agrees with you. He says Woods is too nice of a guy to be a heel. If you're right on this, you're going to be insufferable. I mean, it's going to be so annoying to listen to you if you're right on this. Joey says, does Big E return as a manager for one of them? This is one of the more sad stories in all of pro wrestling. Yeah. You know, this dude loves to wrestle. He loves being a part of the New Day. You guys need to understand that these three guys, 12 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, I was the one that brought Kofi into the room when he was trying to find a character. And he was trying this Jamaican character. And they were lost. They were three dudes that were on their way out of the business. And they came up with this gimmick, the New Day. And then it hit. And then they became one of the greatest factions or duos, whatever you want to call them. And then he breaks his neck. And Tommy, it is heartbreaking. As good as he is on these panels, to know that he wants to be out there with his boys, but he just can't. But at least he's up walking around and not like some other guys who've had their necks broken and couldn't do anything.
Yeah. And he had so much potential, Coach. He could cut a promo, right? He was good in the ring, good outside of the ring. You could put him on any talk show. You could put him on ESPN. You could put him here or there. He would have been such a great representation of the WWE, and it's just unfortunate that night on SmackDown, he took a bad bump from a guy who didn't know how to make the move, and then that was it. Because Big E made New Day. He made them what they were, man. And a great guy, by the way.
Oh, my gosh. Just one of the nicest human beings. When I was still at ESPN and I got to come back it was either Brooklyn or Madison Square Garden, one of the two New York buildings, and I got to come out and dance with the New Day. And Tommy, as you know, I can shake it just a little bit. You know what I'm saying, kid? I mean, you don't even want to get you don't want to get in my way when it comes to dancing, kid. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
I got you, bro. I got you. Yep.
Nate says Big E was at the Husker Colorado game with Bud Crawford. Interesting. Well, I mean, I know now that the WWE is doing a lot of appearances at football games. Peacock and NBC, they have a lot of college football now, Tommy. So it's like their big thing is to send guys. I think I would love it if they called and said, hey, I did 1 million personal appearances, like 1 million when I was in the WWE. I'm telling you guys at home, there were times where I'd get so pissed off because they'd be like, hey, coach, you got to stay and do the Macy's Day Parade. True story. Or, coach, you got to go to a dinner. This was a real one, honoring P. Diddy and Tommy Hilfiger. And it was $100,000 a table. I was there.
Yep.
I bet he wished he could still be at a $100,000 event right now. My goodness. So you do a lot of these personal appearances that the company makes you do. And if you're super popular, I remember when The Rock was at his prime and his height, he was home average of 2 days a month. He would do autograph sessions. He would do personal appearances. He would do it all, Tommy. And he was the one guy that would count every one, too. He'd be like, okay, I'm doing this, so I'm worth this. I'm doing this, so I'm worth this. He always was concentrated on how can I maximize my money. And maybe, the rest of us need to be more like that, but we're also not The Rock. You know what I mean? That dude and Goldberg, I don't know who got a faster raise. I remember when they told me the story about, thank you, Justin. I was a better heel than I was a great heel, damn it. Yeah. A great heel. Very few know how to do it. I did. Right. Still do. Right. So, Tommy, what was I just saying?
You were saying...
I lost my train of thought.
So did I.
Just lost my train of thought. We're talking about personal appearances.
Personal appearances.
That's what you're talking about. So they would always, and I remember Rock and Goldberg. So Goldberg was found at it was either a strip club or a nightclub in Atlanta after he played for the Falcons, I think. And Big Show was too. So I may have where they found him wrong, but you guys get my point. Tommy, he went from $0 to $250,000. 3 months later, they doubled that to $600,000. 3 months later, they doubled that to over $1 million. So Goldberg went from $0 in the wrestling business to over $1 million a year in 6 months.
Wow.
Would you like that?
Yeah, that would be nice, dude.
Wouldn't that be
And
nice?
yeah, that would be nice. And he wasn't the easiest guy to work with backstage either, man. He was tough.
Tommy, there was a time where there was a pre-tape with me and him, and he was supposed to throw me through a door.
Oh,
That was taken off the hinges. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who did all the stunts, who set up all the stunts, he couldn't get the door off the hinges. So I remember Goldberg looked at Vince. I'm standing right there. He goes, "Hey, Vince, don't even worry about it. I can throw Coach through the door without it off the hinges."
oh,
And
really?
I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, hell no, you cannot. No, you can't throw me." And it was one of those big, thick doors that are at the arenas that's going to like break your shoulder if you go through it. And luckily, one of the few times Vince had my back. And Vince was like, "No, you're not going to do that." So what we did was we just kind of opened the door a little bit. I went in, made it sound like, we were having a little tussle. Then all of a sudden I come flying out of the door that was kind of open. That's how we rigged it. But he was stiff too. You remember I had to get in the ring with him and I had a match?
Yep.
And I took his spear, his pump handle slam, and something else.
Yep.
And yeah. DD says, "Coach, did you ever had the GM of Raw title?" Yes, I was the general manager of Raw I had every title. Yep. I did everything. Everything. If it happened, I did it. Including, Tommy, if anybody knows about being a tag team champion, Tommy, it's me. It's me. I was a tag team champion back in the day. And tonight, as I watch those titles and they kind of float around on the two brands, it just hurts me as a former champ, Tommy. As a former champ. I took it very seriously.
Yeah, it's something they're not doing now. They're not
Man, we had some of those funniest ones we did with Bischoff where we went to the courtroom and we were trying to do me and him were just goofs.
Yeah.
I loved working with Bischoff more than anybody. I really, really did. It was awesome. It was awesome. All right, Tommy. I think that's all the damage we can do tonight, big boy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So coming up, we got part 2 of the Maven. If you haven't checked out part 1, go to our YouTube page. You want to do it. He's absolutely as happy as he could be. I encourage you guys. I want you all to watch that interview, and then we'll drop part 2 later this week. Don't forget on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, we will drop the next episode. We only do about 10 minutes. That's it on one big topic. And I believe this week we're going to do it on Pete Rose, who passed away today, and some of the best celebrities to ever show up inside the WWE. But for now, get to bed. You've got a show tomorrow morning to get up for called Driving the Line on Stadium. Hint, hint, I think BTT would look great on Stadium and Amazon Prime. Don't you? Oh, I do. For Big Tommy C, producer man, our intern Dan, who never stops with his great ideas. Thank you, Dan. I am simply the coach. We'll see you next time, wherever we might be on BTT. Take care.
It has been paid for by Behind the Turnbuckle Plus. New pod order.